Welcome to Justice For, a true crime podcast hosted by two besties from Colorado, focused on bringing justice to victims by telling their stories. New episodes released every Tuesday on all major podcast platforms and YouTube. Make sure to follow us on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube so you'll never miss an episode.
Trigger warning, this is a true crime podcast that does contain adult language, adult themes, and some content may be disturbing for some viewers. So please watch and listen with discretion.
I'm just fucking pissed. Welcome back to Justice For. We're your hosts. I'm Jackie.
I'm Sam.
The fuck? Yeah, you'll join me in a minute.
Bruh.
It's a hell of an intro.
That's really the shortest intro we've ever done.
I told you I just could not find the words.
You found those words.
I did find those words. Those were the only ones we could find.
Fair.
Okay. Mia Campos lived in Loganville, Georgia, and was your typical teen girl in high school. She loved dancing, and everyone said she always had a smile on her face. She was absolutely gorgeous, as well, with long brown hair. And there's this picture that is everywhere of her, and she literally looks like a princess. It was from her quinceañera, and she's wearing this gorgeous green dress with this beautiful crown, and she looks like a princess.
Yeah. I know nothing about this story, but she showed me pictures, and
So when Mia was 15, she found out she was pregnant. Mia's parents and siblings were shocked when she told them the news, but that wasn't all that was going to surprise them. When questioned about who the father was, Mia revealed it was her brother's friend, 19-year-old Jesus Monroy. And let me add, the age of consent in Georgia is 16. So naturally, Mia's dad, Edward, wanted to file statutory rape charges against Jesus. But Mia protested. She wanted her baby to have his father in his life. So out of respect for his daughter, Edward did not file any charges against Jesus. Jesus, on the other hand, didn't want to be a father. He told Mia to get an abortion multiple times and refused to even admit the baby was his. But Mia wanted to keep the baby and become a mom. Even though Mia was young, she was excited to become a mom. With Mia being so determined and happy, it didn't take long for her parents to fully be on board and supportive. So of course, Mia's family is not having it when they hear Jesus isn't supporting Mia or the pregnancy. Edward decides it's time to have a talk with Jesus and his family. He basically tells Jesus, if you don't want to be a dad, that's fine. You don't have to. This is your get off free card. All right? He went on to say that Mia will have the support she needs, and so will his grandson. So if he doesn't want this, it's fine. Just walk away.
deuces.
Just walk away. Something in that talk seemed to change Jesus. Or maybe it was the fact that his parents didn't even know Mia was pregnant until Edward showed up. Either way, Jesus began taking Mia to doctor's appointments and out to eat and to do other things together. He seemed to be stepping up and caring for Mia and the baby.
Okay.
So, on Sunday, July 14th, 7.5-month pregnant Mia spent all day with her family shopping for her baby shower. She was having a boy and decided to name him Sebastian. Around 10:30 p.m., Mia told her brother Alexis she was going to the gas station with Jesus. Alexis thought nothing of it. This was something they did sometimes, but she was always back within 20 minutes. Sometimes they would just go down to get a snack or a drink. You know those pregnancy cravings.
I don't, but okay.
I've
heard stories.
She doesn't
I've heard stories.
Dr. Pepper from Wendy's was the only good Dr. Pepper.
My eating habits would probably be more acceptable if I was pregnant.
Yeah. Sometimes, I don't know, I would wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning and be like, sour straws.
Ooh.
And my husband's like, what? And I'm all, sour straws. And then he would get them, and he'd come home, I'd be like, I want goldfish now.
I would be literally the worst pregnant person. Legitimately, I would.
So,
that's why I'm not doing it.
When Edward arrived home from a work trip sometime after 11 p.m. that night, he noticed Mia wasn't home. And once it was discovered that she should have been back by now, her family began calling her phone, and call after call was going unanswered. This was very unlike Mia, so her family decided to check her location via Life 360. And that's when they saw that her phone stopped activity nearby at about 10:58 p.m. which was unusual for her. So Mia's dad, Edward, called Jesus to see if he knew where Mia was. And Jesus told Edward that he hadn't seen Mia that day and that he hasn't talked to her since Saturday. Soon after, Jesus and his dad showed up at Mia's house to help look for her. And I do want to say something on that real quick.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Did you just say to me that Jesus and his dad
Yes.
came over? Okay.
And also, they came over pretty quick. Edward said they lived about 20 minutes away.
Okay.
And when he called Jesus, he said that he'd been at home all day. And that's where he was.
Okay.
But him and his dad showed up way quicker than 20 minutes. Just keep that in mind.
And his dad?
Yeah. I'm still confused on the dad part.
Maybe
we don't clear that up. So, Jesus and Edward decided to go to the location that Mia's phone was last pinging in, while Mia's sister Marisol called to report Mia missing. They tracked Mia's phone to a wooded area 1.5 miles from Mia's house. It was about half a mile outside the entrance to the neighborhood.
Okay.
It led them to a wooded area. They kept following Mia's location, and they eventually stumbled upon Mia laying face down in the leaves. Eduardo and Jesus carried Mia out of the woods to the road. Sorry, not Eduardo, Edward. I had one article that switched his name from Edward to Eduardo, and that was where I was writing this part in here, and it was the only article that had his name wrong. I'm so sorry. Let me redo that. It led them to a wooded area, and they kept following Mia's location, and they eventually stumbled upon Mia laying face down in the woods. Edward and Jesus carried Mia out of the woods to the road, and Edward began performing CPR on Mia before he realized it was too late, so he stopped and called 911. While waiting for police to arrive, Alexis described Jesus as acting odd and not really showing any emotion. Jesus also asked Alexis, "Hey, as a favor, can you not tell police that I'm the father of Mia's baby or the one who got her pregnant?" And Alexis was like, "This is not the time." And let me say, just because, like, Alexis, it's very confusing about who all went out there, but Alexis was out there by the time the police arrived, and because we're not very far from the house, I could see Edward calling back to the house or texting me, like, "Hey, you need to come out here now."
Yeah.
And police arrived pretty quickly to this scene. And when police arrived, they spoke with Jesus, and they said that he was very hesitant to talk to them and to tell him how he knew Mia. He eventually just told them that he was a close family friend. But while Jesus is talking to the police, Marisol says to him in Spanish, "Tell the truth." Since Jesus said that he hadn't seen Mia since Saturday, and no one saw him at the house, no one knew exactly for sure who Mia left with. So it was initially reported that Mia was lured by an unknown person out of her neighborhood, and police immediately got to work on Mia's phone and video surveillance in the neighborhood. Because Jesus was saying he hadn't talked to her, seen her since Saturday, and Alexis just said that she was going out. Like, Alexis, that's what Mia told him. So, it wasn't obvious how Mia had died. There was no visible trauma on her body. Her autopsy was done the next day, and her death was determined to be homicide by asphyxiation, specifically compression of the throat. It was also determined that Mia's unborn baby, Sebastian, was healthy and alive at the time of her death and would have been born healthy and full term.
But he was also determined to be dead at the time.
Yes,
Yeah.
He died as well.
Okay.
Police went around the neighborhood getting any camera footage they could from neighbors to see who this mystery person is that picked up Mia. Mia's house had a Ring doorbell, and it catches her leaving at 10:31. But because of the trees in the front yard, you can't see the street to see who picks her up. But they just see Mia walking to the entrance of the neighborhood and then nothing after that through other cameras. And I'm going to play you a clip of this Ring doorbell footage. It's super short. We're just going to loop it a couple times. And there's no audio. But essentially, Mia is walking out of the house in a Cowboys jersey. You see her kind of turn towards the camera a little bit as she shuts the door behind her and she walks out. And that is the last footage that we have of Mia alive. Mia's cell phone answered a lot of questions that detectives had. They discovered texts between Mia and a friend. Mia had sent a screen recording of her text with Jesus that night. Now, let me tell you, I've just recently learned through my kid, these kids don't screenshot anymore. That's too much effort to screenshot, line that up, screenshot, send all the pictures, delete the stuff. No, these kids just sit there and screen record, scroll through the thing, so therefore you can, like, slow it down or do whatever you need to it.
Yeah, I
'Cause, like,
also
Nicole-
have started doing that. I mean, kind of, if there's a lot of messages.
My kid screen recorded me drama. And I was like, why didn't you take screenshots? She goes,
Why haven't you sent us
She
the
goes,
drama?
ew, why would you take a screenshot?
Okay,
Just screen record.
You know what? I'm about sick of Nicole and her damn ew. I can screenshot if I want. If I want to wear low-rise jeans, I will. Let me have my bangs, Nicole.
I know. Tweens are so judgy.
I will share your YouTube so fast, young lady.
Well, calm down.
Let me wear my pants how I want.
I know. I know. So, in these texts, Jesus was telling Mia to delete the text he sent her about meeting. And he also told her to walk to the entrance of the neighborhood in these texts. So as Mia is walking to meet Jesus, she quickly thought to send those texts to someone. She then deleted her text with Jesus and then texted that same friend, "I'm scared," before getting into Jesus's car. But by the time that friend responded to her, Mia was no longer responding to texts and never responded to her. Police also spoke with Mia's friend Josh, who confirmed that Mia had texted a friend that she was scared because she had texted him worried about Mia after Mia wasn't responding. So it didn't take long for detectives to put two and two together and realize that Jesus may not have been telling the truth.
Huh.
Right?
Huh.
So on July 17th, Jesus is asked to come down to the Gwinnett County Sheriff's Office and talk. When he gets there, they automatically read him his Miranda rights
As
and
they
get down to
should.
Period.
Period.
Yeah.
Good.
Right?
That's what I'm saying.
For once.
Literally. We finally
When I
have
read
it.
that, I was like, yes.
How many have I told you? At least two already.
Yeah, that they didn't get read and it screwed everything up.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus then changes his story to he hadn't spoken to Mia after 8 p.m. on Sunday night. And he said that he was at home all day on Sunday and that at his family's house. His house has cameras and they can check them. While Jesus was being interviewed, they took his phone to go through it. And, of course, obtain the search warrant in that time to keep going with it.
Yep.
They discovered text between Jesus and a friend talking about how he can turn the cameras on and off from his phone whenever he wants to. They found text to friends the night Mia was found with pictures of the police lights and saying he was in big trouble for a DUI wreck. Then he later told them that he was just joking. Jesus was then arrested for providing false statements to police.
Good.
GPS data from Jesus's phone showed that he left his house at 10:19 on Sunday and arrived outside Mia's neighborhood at 10:30. It then showed him drive to the road Mia's body was found off of, then showed his phone in the woods at the same place Mia's phone last pinged. The GPS from Mia's phone showed her walk out to the entrance of the neighborhood and then follow the exact same path as Jesus's phone till her phone stops. They also discovered a text sent to Mia from Jesus's phone asking Mia where she was. This was after he talked to Edward on the phone, and that text was sent from the location that her body was found. Which, if I'm reading the GPS data correctly, it means that while Edward was asking Jesus where his daughter was, he lied to him while staring at her body. If I am reading the GPS data correctly.
I need you to be so fucking for real
I
right now.
am so fucking for real. When I read that, my jaw it hit the ground.
What a fucking loser.
Oh, yeah. On July 23rd, Jesus was charged with malice murder, pretty much premeditated murder, felony murder, feticide, and aggravated assault.
I've never heard it called feticide before.
Really?
I've never heard that before. I've heard like homicide of a fetus.
Yes.
Homicide of an unborn.
Yikes. So the feticide, I think there's a difference in feticide charges, and because he killed Mia, that resulted in the baby dying, instead of where those ones are That, and then there's also an attack either on the stomach or trying to remove the baby or something like that. Does that make sense?
Yes,
So
it does.
I think feticide is like the result of the homicide of the mother.
And maybe it's something in Georgia because
with how they put their charges.
That I'm bringing this up again, but Chris Watts, he just got murder of Connor. Nope, that was Lacey Fletcher's.
Yeah. No.
Oh my gosh,
Lacey Peterson.
Peterson's kid. You know what I'm saying.
But both of them, yes, they were both pregnant. Yeah, so
he just got murdered.
But also we're just Georgia might just be how they list charges.
Mm-hmm. And maybe it depends on how far along she was as well.
Yeah.
It could be something.
Well, because Lacey was 8.5 months and she's 7.5 months, but also different states.
Different states. Also, he was found in very different circumstances as well.
Yes.
So.
Yeah. Fun fact, though. Georgia has the death penalty. And it does apply for both murder charges.
Period.
The malice murder and the felony murder. The feticide is up to 20 years. Edward Campos is also trying to file statutory rape charges against Jesus as well.
Okay.
But
can he do that after the fact?
Yes, because she's only 7.5 months pregnant. We're not statute of limitations on that. It's only been 8 months since it happened.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But they are currently determining which county that crime occurred in. It was previously believed that it happened in Gwinnett County. But now there's speculation that her, getting pregnant could have happened in a different county. So they just have to figure out where that happened in order to figure out which county files the charges for the statutory rape.
That's frustrating.
It is. But at least they're working on it and figuring out if that is a charge they can add. They can't add that charge. They just have to figure out who's going to add it.
Did they ever happen to do a DNA test to confirm it was his kid?
They might have done that in this, or just the fact that,
maybe they didn't need
to at that time. Yeah. Mia's family is also intending to file a wrongful death lawsuit against Jesus and the Monroy family. Rightfully so. This was no reason. He had a walk-away card. They literally told him he can leave.
Yeah.
That is why
the opening... You don't need to be part of this home slice.
Yeah. He didn't even, this wasn't necessary. He could have just walked away.
They gave him the fucking option to dip.
They did.
And he chose not to. And I bet it's because he knew his daddy would kick his ass.
Yeah. Do you see why?
Or his mom.
Yeah.
Hispanic moms, they don't fuck around. The chancla.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right?
Yeah, I mess that word up every time I say it, which is why I didn't say it. And you should hear Nicole say it.
Oh, chicle is gum. I was thinking I said gum for some reason. So I was right.
But now do you see why I had the intro I had for this? Because I'm just fucking pissed.
Yeah. I don't know how you would have written an intro for this, honestly.
No, not at all.
I'm sitting here trying to think about... No idea.
There's nothing.
I got nothing.
August 23rd, there was a hearing to see if there was enough evidence against Jesus to go to trial. A judge ruled there was enough GPS and text message data to proceed with a trial.
Okay.
Which,
good.
Thank God.
Was there no DNA on her?
So, I was hoping you were going to ask that. Here's the problem with that. Do you remember how I said when they found her, they carried her out of the woods and put her on
off. Fuck off.
It was said that Jesus' first thing that he did was made sure that he put himself on her body. There was one article I read that said that he threw himself on her body. There's other ones I read. A lot of the majority was they carried her out, but he did make it a point to touch her body in different spots before the police arrived.
What a little fucking shithead.
Yes.
God, I just want to... Okay.
5 days later, on August 28th, Jesus had a bond hearing. Over 30 people showed up in support of Jesus, while Mia's family filled the other side of the courtroom.
In support?
Oh, hold that rage.
Oh.
To say there was tension in the courtroom would be a massive understatement.
There's tension in this room.
There is. These two families could not want less to do with each other. Yeah? Jesus' brother testified that Jesus was a hard worker. He worked at the family landscape business in the summer and was an electrical apprentice in the winter. That he has never been in any trouble. He's a shy man who doesn't cause trouble, and that he isn't a flight risk at all. Edward, on the other hand, believed quite the opposite, because Jesus has family in Texas and Mexico. Jesus' attorney told the judge that yes, Jesus has family in Mexico and Texas, but he was born and raised in the Loganville area, and he has ties to this area, not Mexico or Texas. He also stated that he has Jesus' passport on him in court and is ready to surrender it today if he is let out on bond. He also went on to say that he has footage of Jesus being at home and not in the woods.
What?
While the state was like, nah. We have GPS evidence of him in the woods, and we have deleted text messages. We have video footage of Mia leaving, then all GPS evidence of their phones together. The judge was even given 13 letters written in support of Jesus. And the defense asked for a $75,000 bond. After taking maybe like 10 minutes to read...
So he'd have to pay $750.
Hold the rage.
Oh, jeez.
After taking like maybe 10 minutes to read the letters and consider everything that was said, I'm not kidding you, I don't even think it was 10 minutes because I was like skipping through the freaking video on YouTube.
He made everyone sit there while he read the letters?
She did, and I thought she did 13 letters and we were maybe in this for 10 minutes. For her to think about those letters and think about all the stuff.
She probably just skimmed them because my ass takes so long to read. Clearly. Sorry.
Yeah. Consider everything that was said, and the judge somehow ruled to let Jesus out on a $50,000 bond, $25,000 less than what the defense asked for. Let me say it again. What the defense asked for. The judge went lower than the defense. Yeah, I'm just let you sit in that rage. Mia's family was understandably upset. How could someone being charged with such an up-close and personal murder of not just the mother of his child, but his child as well, be allowed to just go home under GPS monitoring? He was also barred from speaking with Mia's family or anyone involved in the case. He bonded out within 24 hours and is now sitting at home awaiting trial.
I mean, he had to pay $500. That's like a grocery order for most people.
Yeah. So, they actually had to lock the courtroom down following this decision because Mia's family was not silent about their outrage, some even threatening members of Jesus' family on the way out. Mia's family was escorted out of the courtroom, and then the room was locked down until Mia's family was out of the courthouse, and then they allowed everyone else to leave.
Oh my gosh,
apparently there was a little motion.
How great that would have been to be part of that, though.
So listen, I tried to watch all the different videos, and they don't show anything except for the bailiff. Like, they don't actually show the courtroom and like what's happening. It's just the descriptions, and like this was Court TV who was talking about it too.
Come on, Court TV.
But Court TV described it pretty well. That's how I got the motion. One of them did a little line across the throat towards Jesus' family.
A family member? Oh,
yeah, that was the threatening, because you didn't hear anything threatening, but that was the threat that was made. Yeah, and the bailiff goes, I heard it, I saw it. And then, yeah.
I love it. But also, fuck that.
Keep that energy.
It's been here, Jackie.
Because that's where we sit right now.
Oh. Fuck!
That is literally where we sit right now. At the time of this recording, we do not have a trial date. We do not have a pre-trial date. If a trial date has been released by the time this episode releases, we will have it on our socials with posts for this episode, and we'll definitely be keeping everybody updated. But what are your thoughts?
I'm mad.
I'm so mad.
I'm mad. Also, I don't know if I'm mad at you or Jen or Jesus. I'm just full of rage. It's a trio of madness. I'm full of rage, and that's not smart. to have.
And, like, my big thing is, so I listened to one podcast on this, and she kept saying, like, oh, his dad, we'll talk about that later. But I've never really found much out about the dad. Jesus' dad.
Okay.
Why was he there? I got really suspicious of Jesus' dad while writing this.
Yeah.
Because even the family thought it was weird that his dad was there. Where, like, I have some stories where, like, the dad went with to go look for Mia. I have stories where I don't even know where the dad ended up at.
Okay.
The family doesn't really talk about the dad that much anymore, other than, like, him saying that it was weird how quickly they got there.
Okay.
So, and that's the part with him saying, like, how quickly they got there and him already having his dad with him. Like, did Mia text that she was scared because she got in that car and Jesus and his dad were in it? Did she text she was scared before she got in the car? Like, I've seen things that say that, like, that text was as she was getting in the car or got in the car. Maybe she saw it. Like, I don't... I want to know what made her scared. And having his dad in that car unexpectedly could be the thing that made her scared.
That's totally valid. I'm having a thought.
What is it?
Not good.
Okay.
I can tell you that for sure. So. Okay. So if there was in fact video footage of him at his house, do you think for any reason he was actually home, but his dad is the one that took his phone to go pick up Mia?
It just still doesn't explain how they both got there so quickly.
Well, I'm not meaning it at that time. I'm meaning at first. So maybe perhaps someone else had his phone and went and picked her up and is the one that committed the murder, and that's why it got placed on him, because his GPS tracking, but not actual video footage of him in the woods, just GPS.
I can see that.
And they could have taken his car, things like that.
I mean, the only correct response for that would be his dad. Like, I don't see anybody else.
I mean, it could have been a friend too. You never know. I honestly, you don't know.
With all the deleted texts and the way that he is, like, I personally think it's him. It's sort of pleasing everybody else. Just the dad, I can't figure out. Like, that's something that I know trial's probably going to give us.
Yeah. So to play devil's advocate, as one does, what if he, like, got off the phone with Edward and was like, Dad, Mia's missing. And, like, maybe genuinely freaking out. And so they hopped in their little car and fucking raced over there. Because I'm only saying this, and this was not because of a murder, but because my mother called me one night freaking out because she had to take her dog to the vet. This is when I lived, I'm going to say a good 30 minutes away from her, like way past Powers. And I got from my house to the vet on North Nevada in 15 minutes.
Okay.
And I drive like a grandma most of the time, but I spend like a motherfucker.
Okay.
So, I mean,
that timing, okay, I can see how they went faster, and it is at night, so there's not a lot of traffic, and it's probably a lot easier to get across town and things like that. So, yeah, play devil's advocate there.
He was, like, genuinely, he was also getting a grandson. So maybe he was genuinely worried as well and was trying to be a supportive dad.
Okay, we can play devil's advocate there. Dad. I know. Grandpa.
Yeah. But, I don't know.
Yeah. It's just, I have a feeling that we're going to have a lot more that comes out at trial. I mean, they put a lot out there in, like, the hearing that we had for going to trial, and then, like, the one for bond. They had, I mean, Jesus' brother. They had one of the detectives up there. So we got a lot out of that, but I just have a feeling there's a lot more, even as straightforward as this is. I just feel like there's some things in there that will be answered. And, like, the low bond. Like, why are we treating this like a tube of chapstick? And the thing is the reason that they... So I guess... I don't know why I never, like, I don't know why I ever, like, Googled what the stipulations were to get a bond is. Like, to be not a flight risk.
I also did my math wrong on his bond. He had to pay $5,000.
Yeah.
Instead of $500. Really my mind was thinking $500. I don't know why. That's 1%.
So, with all... The base factors for determining whether or not you're a flight risk is... They just have to prove that you have ties to the community. and not to somewhere else. They just have to prove that your ties are in the community. And then there's like a couple other things, but that was the main thing that they proved with Jesus, was that he doesn't have ties to those communities. He only has ties to the communities in Loganville. And so that's how he was not considered a flight risk, even with family in Texas and Mexico.
That's crazy. Like, you can literally just fucking pick up and leave at any time.
I know, but we are literally like, we have 2 murder charges, and we're just a $50,000 bond. I just feel like it's just a slap in the face.
It absolutely is. That's wild.
Like, people have gotten higher bonds for less.
I don't know, this whole thing's just weird. And also, I feel like 19-year-olds don't just leave their phone places or give their phone to other people.
Oh, yes, that was in there. It was said that it was, like, his phone GPS, like, he did not leave it. Like, he had his phone. They said that when they pulled all of it, it followed, like, his, or not GPS, like, his normal phone patterns were followed.
Yeah. And he wouldn't have been able, if someone else had his phone, he wouldn't have been able to answer Edward's call
and do all that.
I don't know, man.
It's just, it's enraging.
It is.
It's just, it was pointless. Like, there's no reason for this. I think that's why I'm so mad, is there's no reason. Not that there ever is a reason, but like, okay.
I don't know, dude.
This is going to be one that we're going to have to just keep following with you guys and seeing how trial goes and what comes out in it. And so,
I'm surprised they haven't set a trial date unless they have to do way more investigating. That's the only thing I can think of.
At the time of writing this, because we are pre-recorded out with vacations for you guys, he had that bond hearing like 3 weeks ago.
Still.
Yeah.
It's a double.
So, and
it is a double murder case.
Basically. And yeah, I was really surprised that they didn't put any more dates out, and with how, like, that was almost a month ago we had that hearing, that we don't have anything set.
Yeah.
So whenever we do get that set, it'll probably be set by the time this episode comes out, so we'll have that tagged in this.
Let's hope.
And if it is, I'll add it in the description as well.
Yeah.
So justice is currently loading for Mia. Mia and her family were robbed of watching Mia grow up and become a mom, as well as watching their grandson grow up. Mia never got the chance to hold her son Sebastian, graduate high school, or become the mother she was so excited to become. And hopefully justice will be served, and Jesus will spend a long time in prison.
Or,
hopefully.
Death.
Yeah.
Because Georgia.
Yes. But sometimes they leave the death penalty off of it to get the conviction. Because it's easier.
I'm mad.
I'm mad.
I'm also trying to, like, wrap my head around, like...
the fact that he's sitting at home and not in jail right now.
Okay, that too. But, like, what happened to lead up to all of a sudden strangling her?
And everyone said that everything was normal and fine. Alexis said that he had this tiny bad feeling when Mia said she was leaving that night. But he shoved it down.
This was
another trip to the gas station.
Yeah.
And he said afterwards he understood why he, like, he didn't think it was a big deal then, but then afterwards he said, he feels so guilty because he wishes he would have stopped her.
Yeah. Trust your guts.
Yeah.
You really gotta do that. That's crazy.
The sad reality of the world we live in today is that pregnant women are more likely to be killed by an intimate partner than a non-pregnant woman. In fact, the homicide rate for women ages 15 to 44 is 16% higher for those pregnant or within the postpartum year. And as recently as July of 2024, 6% of women with a live birth experience emotional, physical, or sexual violence during pregnancy with an intimate partner.
Goodness.
If you or anyone you know is currently experiencing domestic violence, there's help out there. The National Domestic Violence Hotline is available 24 hours, 7 days a week. You can call 800-799-7233, or you can text BEGIN 88788. And I think the text option is my favorite and really awesome, because you can't always talk on the phone. But thank you guys for joining us for another episode. If you enjoyed hanging out with us today, please hit that subscribe button, follow button. Don't worry, it's totally free. And you'll never miss an episode. If you aren't already following us on all the things, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Please do.
All of the places.
All the places. We have discussions. We love to hear what y'all think. And we also love reading your reviews. So keep all the comments and reviews coming. They're awesome.
Please. Yes. Yes, yes.
And we've also been loving all the case submissions. I don't think we actually currently have any sitting there waiting for us.
We have one.
We have one?
For us. We have one.
Awesome. We need some more. So if you have case submissions, head over to our website, justice4podcast.com, hit that little case submission tab, and send it on in. Give my sister something to do.
I don't know. I'm mad at you, Jen.
Yeah. This was another one of those like, oh, it has closure. Anyway.
We do love you, though, Jen. I'm really sorry.
do.
I'm not sorry at all, but we love you.
Love you.
Anyway, thank you guys again. Thank you for joining us. We hope you have a lovely, lovely day. And we will see you guys next week. Right?
Right.
Cool.
All right.
Love you guys. Okay.
Bye.